This is Anna from 3 Tricks Lampshades. Hello! Today I'm going to show you how to make a 20 centimeter diameter drum lampshade using the 3 Tricks 20 centimeter kit. So in the kit I've got my glue, lampshade paper, cotton tape, it's a plain ring, a fitted ring with a 28mm washer fitting, and beautiful instructions step by step with colour pictures for each step. So first thing is, we are going to laminate our fabric onto a lampshade paper. Lay your fabric right side down on a clean, flat surface. Just check your fabric for any little threads, hairs, any other little bits. If you leave anything on there when you've stuck the lampshade paper on, it's going to show through when you turn the light on your lamp, so just clean it up. And if your lampshade paper's been sitting in the box for a while, it might be a bit dusty, just make sure it's clean as well. Lay your lampshade paper on your fabric with the grid lines down. I'm going to use a couple of heavier things to weigh down my lampshade paper. It's a bit curly because it's been rolled up for a while. So with your lampshade paper, open it up, pull the backing back and create a tab that sort of pokes out the bottom of your paper. Press down on your lampshade paper onto your fabric. And without putting your hand in underneath the lampshade paper, grab the tab on the corner there, pull it along a bit, smooth your lampshade paper, continue pulling the tab back, flip it over, just smooth it down to make sure you've got no bubbles or creases. Along your top and bottom edges, measure 1.5 centimeters with a ruler. Now I'm going to cut along those long edges. So I've cut along the two long sides. Now I'm going to do my inside and my outside seams. Now to work out which is your inside seam and which is your outside seam, fold your short ends over that way or that way. Just so this becomes my outside seam and this becomes my inside seam. So on my outside seam, I'm going to measure 0.5 centimeter and just trim that off. And the other end will be our inside seam. So what I do is I get my ruler right on the end of my lampshade paper, grab a pencil and just push the ruler slightly off the lampshade paper so that you're not going to draw on it, and then draw a line on your fabric. And that's your guideline for cutting, so just undo it a little bit. Pull the fabric back off the lampshade paper just slightly and cut inside the line that you've drawn, just a few mils inside the line, so that what will happen is that your lampshade paper will be just slightly longer than your fabric. You can see there that your inside seam has the plastic slightly longer, and your outside seam I've cut it to 0.5 millimeter. And now what I'll do from this end, so for my outside seam I'm running some glue along the outside edge of the plastic, and then I'm going to fold the fabric over and glue that down. So fold the fabric over and press it down onto your glue. So you can see there, that's my outside seam, that's my inside seam. In the end it's going to look like this. Put your paper aside for a moment, grab your rings. Now we're going to bind the rings. In your kit you get 2 pieces of 12mm cotton tape. You can see that the end has been cut on an angle. We're going to use that angle to help us bind the rings. Pop a bit of glue on the end of your cotton tape. Now line your cotton tape up with the edge of your ring. That angle now will help us maintain the angle as we bind the ring. When you come to a strut, put the middle of the tape on the middle of the outside of the ring, put your finger over, wind the tape around and let the tape fall into place. Keep it nice and taut as you go. Okay, we're coming up to a strut again, so put the middle of the tape on the middle of the outside of the strut and roll it over. You're aiming for the tape to be flat with no overlaps and tightly covering your rings. Okay, when you get to the end, just cover over where you started, cut the tape on an angle again, pop a bit of glue on the end of your tape, and glue it down. That's one ring bound. Now do the same to your plain ring. Okay, let's peg this shade together using our rings. Now at this point you need to make sure you realise which way is up and which way is down. So for me, this is the right way up. Got the raindrops falling out of the clouds, so that's the right way up. That means I'll have my fitted ring at the bottom and my plain ring at the top, because I'm going to be using this on a lamp base. But if I was going to be hanging it from the ceiling, this would become my top ring and that would be my bottom ring, and this part here will always be inside the lampshade. Oftentimes when you receive this, these kits, you might find a sticky mark on the inside of your lampshade paper where it's been rolled up on itself. To get those sticky marks off, just use a little bit of eucalyptus oil or tea tree oil. That will easily get it off. So I just got a bit of eucalyptus oil on a tissue. Just rub it on those marks on the back of the lampshade paper and it just comes straight off. Starting with your bottom ring, your base ring, lampshade paper, let it curl up naturally towards the ring. Pop your pegs in so that the edge of the paper is lined up exactly with the edge of the ring. This will help you get that nice sharp corner on your lampshade when you start turning the fabric over. Okay, so you can see that I've pegged that all together. The lampshade paper is, see how it's lined up on the edge there? You want to be able to see the edge of the lampshade paper just around the bottom edge. Just check again at this point before you start gluing that you've got your rings in the right way. So I've got my plain ring up the top and my fitted ring at the bottom. At this point, it's really a lovely point to have a look and see that this is what your shade's going to look like at the end. Very exciting moment. Okay, let's start gluing. Start gluing opposite the seam. I take a couple of those pegs out and just adjust that ring again so that you have the edge of your lampshade paper lined up exactly with the edge of your ring. I just move it a little bit with my fingers to get it into position. Now using your scissors, make a couple of little slits where the spokes are, about 3/4 of the way to the lampshade paper, not all the way. And what this does is it allows you to pull those edges around the spokes. So this is the glue that you'll get in your kit. It's a 50 ml bottle. So you can see at the top there's a tiny nib poking out. That means that the bottle is closed. And you just twist this, that opens it up, and then the glue will come out of there. You don't need to take the lid off. So that's open, shut. It's a good idea to shut the glue in between every time you do your gluing, because sometimes it just oozes out the top. I'm going to use just a bigger bottle because I have these as well. You can buy these on my website. A bit easier using a bigger bottle. Okay. So now I'm going to put glue on the top edge of the ring and the outside edge of the lampshade paper. I'm trying to film this so that you can see what I'm doing, but it's a bit tricky. So, top edge of the ring, and the outside edge of the fabric. So I'm shutting the lid on that one too. Now at this point, there's no hurry to get in there and start working. You need the glue to go tacky, so just wait about 15-20 seconds and then the glue is so much easier to work with. Okay, so the glue's tacky now. I'm going to start rolling it. This hand is holding on to the shade where there's no glue, and this hand is my rolling hand. I'm going to come from underneath and push the fabric onto the middle of the top of the ring. I'm not actually pushing it all the way around, but I can feel the edge of the lampshade paper through the fabric and know that it's still lined up perfectly with the edge of the ring. And then I'm going to go up and down a couple of times, just pressing it onto the top of the ring. And this inside edge where we put the glue, that's actually not pressed all the way down onto the lampshade paper because that's just going to cause a gluey mess. I'm only sticking it onto the top of the ring. And once you're happy with that and you don't have any wrinkles or anything along here, you can, if you do have wrinkles, just smooth them out with your thumb. Now you can come in and push that inside edge all the way around so that you're poking it in behind the ring with your fingers. If you don't have any fingernails, you can use a tool to do this. I've got a few tools here that you could try. So there's a, it's just a round-ended knife. I've got a 9mm chisel. It's like a gelato spoon. This is a paint tin opener. That works really well. You could also use the end of a peg. And what you do is you just come in and just push the fabric down and behind the ring. You will get a bit of glue onto the lampshade paper, but we're going to clean that off after we've done this. If you find that you're pushing the fabric in and then when you pull the tool back out again, the fabric's coming with it, just push the tool in, move it along and then pull it out until you pass the glue. That way it will stay in there. Now there's still a bit of glue left behind from that outside edge of the fabric where the glue got stuck. So I just use my thumb and roll it along there to get the glue off. If you're looking for a tool to do this job, these are painting tools that I think they use them to smooth silicone and grout and stuff. So, but it's just in the painting section at your hardware store. Grab these and you can just rub it along the inside of the paper and it helps ball up the glue. You want to clean the glue off in between every time that you glue. Don't wait until the end because the glue goes like hard as a rock. Now at this point you can turn your shade up, put it on the edge of the table without knocking all the pegs off. And then you can use your tool again to come down from the top and just press that any further bits of fabric down and behind your ring. You can see there what I did with, I'll just show you on this angle. when I had the lampshade up on the table and I was coming down inside with the tool, what I was doing was I was pushing the tool in behind the ring, like that, pushing it in behind, and pushing that fabric in behind. So you can see there, that's a nice neat finish. That's what you're looking for. So now when you come to glue your next section, just pull on that edge of the fabric until you can feel the pull of the glue, because sometimes you've pushed the fabric in further than you think, then the glue is actually on there. So you want to just pull that out until you can feel that there is some glue in there, and fold it back and get your glue right into that corner. So once again, I'm coming over with my thumb. Here when I'm showing you, I've actually got it lifted off the table just so you can see what I'm doing in the video. But what I really want you to do is take it on its side, hold it down on the table, and do your rolling using the table for stability. Don't lift it off the table because then it gets all wobbly. But just for the purposes of so you can see what I'm doing, I've got it lifted up. Now I'm tucking it in with my fingernail and grabbing a tool and poking it in behind the ring. If you have any long threads that are coming out, just trim them off. It's a bit easier to trim them than it is to try and poke them in behind. Now get that excess glue off again. I'm literally just like gently rubbing my thumb along the edge of the lampshade paper to make the glue into little balls. You don't have to do it very hard, it just keep going back and forward and it turns into little balls. And up on the side again, look down into your shade and just finish off those little edges using your tool from the top. Okay, so I've done the top and the bottom and just left a couple of centimeters open for this seam. Now I'll show you how to do your seam. So you can see here it's lined up really beautifully. That's just by chance. Normally you don't get that nice lining up. It's just the repeat of the pattern is the right size for this diameter, just by chance. I'm going to lift this up, run a line of glue under here, and then using my fingers like this, I'm going to hold on to the shade and pull it over itself, pushing and pulling over itself. Running the glue underneath the seam. I usually at this point I just push it onto itself and pull it up again, just to spread the glue out a bit so we don't get big globs of glue under there, because that can sometimes cause it to buckle a little bit. Now with my fingers I'm going to grab onto it and pull it over itself, making sure that these edges here are lined up with the edges underneath, and very groovily it's lined up on there too, which is just pure luck really. Okay, once that's holding on, grab the ruler, put it over the top. I just put a peg in each corner, and this is going to make sure that it dries really nice and flat. I also put my hand in under here and just push that along so that I can spread the glue and push it flat against it. And you just leave that to dry for a couple of minutes. Okay, it's been a few minutes. Spent a few minutes on Instagram mucking around. Might have been a few more than a few minutes. Okay, so now all that's left to do is just glue down these ends. That one and that one. And then we're finished. So I usually put glue on both ends while I'm doing this because I figure while I'm waiting for it to go tacky on one end, I do the other end. Hey, there we are. There's a 20cm drum lampshade finished. And here it is all finished now. We're sitting on the 3 Chooks simple lamp base. It's a simple slot together bamboo lamp base available at 3chooks.com.au. And you can get your lampshade kit there and everything else you need too. And here it is again. I thought you might like to see it with the white acrylic base too. This is also available on my website. Beautifully designed by Lucy Barnes. Check out Spangle Fandangle on Instagram. I also run workshops all the time, so if you're looking to learn how to make them but you want a little bit of extra support on top of this video, check out my website for workshop dates, 3chooks.com.au. Happy lampshade making! Thanks for watching.